Hey folks, we've got a whole bunch of cucumbers fresh from the garden. We're going to be turning these into our family's favorite homemade pickles, which we're going to show you step by step on how we do this every summer. Let's get started. And we're going to be using both 16 and 32 ounce mason jars. And we're going to first start off by grabbing our alum, and we're going to put a half a teaspoon into all the 16 ounce mason jars. And once we've got all those filled, we'll switch to a full teaspoon for all the 32 ounce jars. Next to go into all the jars is our baby dill, and we'll add 2 small dill leaves into the 16 ounce jars. And just kind of eyeball this as you go along, but approximately 2 leaves for each of these smaller jars. After we've got all those filled, we'll move on to our 32 ounce jars, which will do about 3 to 4 dill leaves per jar, just depending on the size of the dill leaves. And as we look at our jars here with the dill leaves in them, this is a great time to click that subscribe button. We appreciate it. So next we've got a bunch of garlic bulbs here. We're going to break all of these open, and then you want to remove all of the garlic cloves. And as we do remove these, it kind of reminds me of those orange wedges that when we're peeling an orange, these break out like that. This is very similar. There's another look at our cucumber harvest here. Some of those cucumbers were getting a little bit white, which is a sign that they really needed to be picked. After we got all the cloves separated, we're going to start preparing the pot. Normally we do 12 cups of water, but since we have so many cucumbers, we're going to do a double batch for 24 cups of water. Same thing with the vinegar. Normally we would go with 4 cups of white vinegar, but since we're doing a double batch, we're doing 8 cups of vinegar. The key thing to remember here is 4 cups of white vinegar for every 12 cups of water. Now here's our last of our 8 cups of vinegar for our 24 cups of water. And we're going to turn that burner on high to start heating this up. At this point here, it's a great time to add in the pickling salt. You want to do 3/4 of a cup of pickling salt for every 12 cups of water. So again, we're doubling it up. So we've got 1.5 cups of pickling salt in there, and we're going to mix that in thoroughly to fully dissolve that salt. Then we'll bring this to a boil. Now while that pot heats up on the stove, we can go back to our garlic cloves, and you're going to want to peel the skin off all of these garlic cloves. And the easiest way to do this is to simply cut off the ends of the garlic cloves, and then that skin will peel right off, just like so. And be sure to keep an eye on the pot, so we know when it reaches that boiling point. Now that we have all of our garlic cloves peeled, we'll add 2 small cloves to each of the smaller jars. And then we're going to find the larger cloves and add 2 of those to the large jars. Beautiful. Now we can start preparing our cucumbers. We can cut off the ends of the cucumbers to get those ready for slicing. And here we're going to start off with the spears. So you just cut the cucumber in half the long way, and then just slowly start dividing it down into the spears, just like so. And again, having those flat edges from the ends being cut off really helps with cutting that in half. And then you simply cut those spears down to the sizes that you prefer. And that's just the way we like it. And we just checked in on that pot again, and everything is boiling. So we set the timer for 15 minutes. And keep that boiling for all 15 minutes. And that really gives us a perfect amount of time to keep slicing our cucumbers and to start filling them into all the jars. And as you can see here, don't hesitate to really jam those in there and make those a nice tight fit. You can see we try to get as many spears into each jar as we possibly can. But with the smaller jars, you might want to cut the spears in half just for an easier fit. Now as for getting pickle chips, we use the Crinkle chopper to cut the chip slices, and this really offers that nice wavy textured cut for your pickle chips. We'll put a link to this in the description. Now since we're using such big cucumbers, these cucumber chips really take up quite a bit of width of those jars, but we just do as best as we can getting those in there. We're starting to make more of these chips each year. Here's a quick look at what we've prepared so far. But the pot's been boiling for 15 minutes, so it's time to move that on over and prepare to start filling the jars. We've got our pot nice and close to all of our prepared jars, so we just use a simple soup ladle combined with a funnel, and that's how we fill up the jars one by one without making a mess. After each jar is filled, we put on the cap right away, turn it upside down and give it a nice shake. Then we store it in the refrigerator until they're ready to be used. And we move through these quite quickly. Now these do need to be refrigerated, and they do last up to a couple months while in the refrigerator. And for your convenience, we did put all the ingredients listed right in the description on this video. For another great cucumber recipe, check out our cucumber sandwiches video here, along with some of our other videos. Thank you for watching. God bless.